Okay. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. This is Bridget.
I'm Bridget.
Yep.
This is Sarah.
I'm also Sarah.
And we're Bridget and Sarah.
Wow. All right. Today, for our very first podcast ever in the history of podcasts.
But not our last.
Oh, I hope not. This is fun.
This is fun.
Bloody Mary. Popular urban legend / sleepover game. I think mostly for girls. I don't think there's a boys version.
How creepy, though. Like, imagining just boys going over for their, Friday night sleepover, and they're like, hey, guys, let's go to the bathroom and see if we can take out Bloody Mary. Oh, funny.
Honestly, a mood.
To each their own. Okay.
Yes, Bloody Mary. When I learned about her at the ripe old age of 9, I had my father take all the mirrors out of my room for months. I'm talking months. And I had 3 mirrors in there.
You gotta cover your bases. She can come from anywhere.
And then I had a bathroom that was attached, and obviously you can't take that mirror out, so I wouldn't go to the bathroom at night.
Oh, never. I'm an adult and still don't like going to the bathroom at night. That's just not okay.
That's fair. I have 3 LED light bulbs in my bathroom right now, so
on
I
always.
know I'm safe.
She's not coming to get me. Yeah, no, I can't honestly remember the exact age that I first heard or was tortured by this. But yeah, I was kind of similar in your situation. Didn't want to see any mirrors. Didn't want to see even my reflection in anything. Honestly glad that I didn't know anyone named Mary. Bloody Mary.
All right. Shall we get into the science?
Let's get right
Bloody
into
Mary?
it before she comes out. And
before we scare anybody listening to this, Mr. Logan, I would like to let you know that Bloody Mary is probably not real.
Probably.
Yes. Because so the whole ritual, at least the one I learned, was you say Bloody Mary 3 times in a dimly lit bathroom, preferably lit only by a single flickering candle, and then you just stare deeply into the mirror. Some rituals involve you running water, like on the ship Queen Mary in California, that's supposed to be the most haunted place in America. It has instructions in the bathroom for you to play Bloody Mary, and
Stop.
it's like run the water, spin around 3 times.
I remember the water,
it.
but I don't remember the spinning around part, but it totally makes sense why that would just add to the paranoia.
Hadley told me the spinning around part.
Another one tortured by Bloody Mary at a young age.
Yes. But the only reason you see anything in the mirror is because if you stare, even in a brightly lit room, if you stare at your reflection in the mirror long enough, you're going to start to see things that aren't there. Now, if you couple that with a dimly lit bathroom, you're already freaking yourself out. And a flickering candle in your hand.
Of all things.
Plus the spinning around. And I feel like if you were to run water, that would just add to the whole, I don't know, maybe I'd like the noise, though, instead of just deafening silence.
It would almost be like a mix of not enough sensory and a sensory overload, just because you're already in a dark room. Creepy. You add running water to it, and now you're spinning, so you're all just out of it. And then you've got your 3 friends behind you cheering you on through this. It's just a bad situation.
Yes. So you are more than likely going to see something that's not there. And there's even a whole ritual that was before the Bloody Mary ritual, which is probably where it all started, is a young woman would play this game to figure out to see the face of the man she was going to marry one day.
Ooh.
So in a dimly lit house, you walk backwards up the stairs, which sounds so safe, with a candle in one hand and a mirror in the other. And when you reach the top of the stairs, you should see your groom's face you kind of angle it behind you, I guess. And you should see the groom's face in the mirror. But there is a possibility that you could see a skull or the face of the Grim Reaper, which meant you were going to die before you got married.
No way.
But I'm sure that that's where it started. To see the skull and then to also see the ghost of Bloody Mary.
I don't know what's more horrifying, seeing the face of your future groom or that.
Yeah.
No. And honestly, don't anyone walk upstairs backwards with mirrors, sharp objects. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't see how any of that would make sense. honestly, I could see you dying before you meet your husband because you're doing that whole thing in the first place.
Falling
Like,
down the stairs.
yeah, what are you doing? No.
You're right. So, the other historical things behind Bloody Mary. Who is Bloody Mary? Who is this ghost? Who is this apparition? Let me tell you a few names. Queen Elizabeth of Bathory, a young queen who was so obsessed with her looks and beauty that she killed hundreds of young villager girls and drained their blood so she could bathe in it, thinking that it would keep her young. Spoiler alert, this is not a life hack. It doesn't work.
No, she is dead. Long dead.
Hopefully.
Oh, God.
She pops out of the corner.
I know. Now she's going to come up behind me over my shoulder.
You thought. It's Angelina Jolie.
Oh, no.
And
yes.
she probably makes the least amount of sense, but also kind of the most amount of sense. But her name. We don't know where Mary came from. I don't know if something got lost in translation or if
maybe she like wanted to name her kid Mary.
Or if Mary's somehow a nickname for Elizabeth.
Or what if Mary is someone she killed and adopted her identity?
Yes, except she was a queen, so people would know. Right? Unless... So Mary looks exactly like her, so she kills Mary.
Doppelganger?
She's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, the queen is dead. And then she can continue living on forever.
Oh, my goodness. Don't trust anyone named Mary. Go ahead.
All right, next. Mary Worth, the witch of the forest. There's no actual, no. There might be a historical record of a Mary Worth, but there's no historical record of all of this stuff actually happening. But let's pretend for a minute that there is. So Mary Worth, in 1500s Salem, the worst time to be a woman, honestly, especially an older woman, especially one who just didn't confine to the heteronormative social order. Sorry.
Not sorry.
I'm going to live in this cottage by myself and sell you herbal remedies.
Many women do that now. It's okay. It was okay then. It's okay now.
Well, it wasn't okay then, because guess what happened?
It should have been.
Girls started disappearing. And the very first suspect, of course, is Mary Worth. But here's a catch. Villagers suspect that she's taking them to kill and, get their youth back because she... an old woman is starting to look more youthful. Supposedly.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know why I have that singing through my head as you say that.
Maybe it is.
I mean,
what other herbal remedies could she be
that's what
picking up
I'm
in there?
saying. Anything can get rid of fine lines. A bloodbath.
No.
Case in point.
No, wait. Wait, not that.
All right, go ahead.
So one night, the miller's daughter is like, what's that weird sound? And her parents are like, we don't hear anything. So, like any normal teenager in a horror movie, she starts to follow the sound. Almost as if she's in a hypnotic trance.
Oh, no.
I added that. That's my embellishment. The article I read didn't say that.
There could have been a plant there that she decided to, yeah.
Maybe. We'll never know.
No, we won't.
She's dead.
She won't come back and tell us, that's for sure.
Not even existed.
No.
That's true. Board. Hello, Miller's daughter.
Why did we not bring one? Why?
I don't own one.
I don't either, but I'm sure they sell them at every...
Toys R Us?
Yeah.
Toys R Us does.
Oh, rest in peace. Go ahead.
So, the parents are like, no, wait, come back, daughter. And she's like, no, screw you, Mom and Dad. This isn't a phase. This is my life. She doesn't say that.
No.
But a farmer does notice that Mary Worth is standing at the edge of the forest holding what looks to be a wand that is glowing, pointed at the miller's house. So he rounds up all the townspeople with pitchforks and knives and all that good stuff, and they go to get the miller's daughter back and to also stop Mary Worth, who may or may not be killing all the girls in the village. They shoot her in the hip to keep her from running away, drag her back to the village, and burn her alive.
That is so gnarly.
And as she is burning, she vows that if anybody were to say her name 3 times, it would summon her and she would enact her revenge. And after she's dead and gone, They go back to her cottage to try and find the girls, and all they find is a row of unmarked graves.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did she do it?
Damn right she did.
Only you can decide. Let's talk about the most likely candidate for Bloody Mary, and that is Queen Mary of Scots, who I have to admire in some way because she is the first Queen of England who rules in her own right with no one else. She's like the first queen.
So, like, doesn't have, like, a tribe family behind her type deal?
Yeah, like, she doesn't have a regent or anything.
Yeah.
She is the queen.
Yes, queen.
And she is Henry VIII's oldest daughter. Now, we all know about Henry VIII.
Oh, Henry.
Who went through, like, so many wives.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's kind of messed up from the start. Having that dad who's like, no, I'm going to kill your mother because you're a girl and I don't want you.
Horrible.
And people favored her younger sister, Elizabeth, Anne Boleyn's kid. And Anne Boleyn, wasn't she, like, the favorite wife or something?
I think so.
Because maybe she wasn't. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's so many.
Well, I mean, wasn't Anne Boleyn the woman he divorced the other queen for? So, like, his first wife, I think, I could be making all this up. I actually didn't fact check any of this. But I feel like from what I remember is Queen Mary's mother was, like, his original wife, who he divorced so he could marry Anne Boleyn, who then he had Elizabeth with.
I feel like I remember that too. But again, always fact check.
Yes.
Sorry, not sorry that we didn't. Go ahead.
So everybody always liked Elizabeth more, and Mary kind of kept falling in and out of her dad's favor. She, like, had a lot of issues. Like, she never got enough attention. She was an attention-starved young girl who kind of suffered from, it's thought that she had, like, ovarian or uterine cancer because she suffered, like, a lot of reproductive issues, which oftentimes also kept her out of the public eye. And the problem back then was that if you were a queen or a king, and especially a queen, if you suffered from anything like that, everybody knew.
Yeah.
They told everyone.
No privacy.
So that's how she grew up, which sucks.
Major daddy issues from day one.
So she gets married to a boy a man who's 10 years younger than her. And she's like, oh, attention. Bless you.
Thank you.
And he's like, well, okay.
Mm.
I married you because you're a queen, and I had to. So she gets pregnant. And this is also in the middle of England being very, very Catholic, but a lot of Protestants were popping up, and there's a lot of Protestant versus Catholic, even though it's all Christianity.
I mean, tomato, tomato.
But that's what was happening. So Mary was, like, desperate to have a son so she could solidify Catholic England as Catholic, to have a Catholic son of a Catholic queen and a Catholic king, because I'm pretty sure Elizabeth was Protestant. Also.
It just is a mess.
I think. Or at the very least, she didn't persecute Protestants like Mary did.
No, please, no.
Mary is pregnant. She shows all the physical signs of being pregnant. And it's customary, I guess, 6 weeks before you're supposed to give birth, you're taken out of the spotlight and you're, like, basically confined to just a handful of people and, like, the doctors and stuff. And here's another thing. A monarch cannot actually be examined by a medical, like a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they couldn't touch them or something. So no actual examination or test, I guess, was done to determine if she was actually pregnant. I don't know what kind of stuff they did back then to, like, determine that, though.
Yeah, like, what could you do back then?
Because she was showing all the physical signs. She thought she was pregnant.
Oh, no.
Guess what?
She wasn't.
She wasn't.
Oh.
So 6 weeks came and went, and there were no baby. And she was like, oh, I must have gotten the date wrong. It must be another 6 weeks. So another 6 weeks passed by. And the longer the time goes, the more people are like, there's no baby. Turns out it was either a molar pregnancy, which is, I wrote this down. Yes, it's when a non-fertilized egg implants in the uterus and causes the physical symptoms of pregnancy, but there's no baby. Or it's what's it called? A pseudo-pregnancy, where a woman is so desperate to be pregnant or is so convinced that she is pregnant that she shows all the symptoms of being pregnant.
Stop.
If you'll remember, that was a plot point in the first season of Glee.
Oh, my Lanta. That is almost as terrifying as Bloody Mary herself coming through your mirror. What?
Yes. So she's like, I must have done something wrong. God is mad at me because there's so many Protestants in England. So what am I going to do? Root out all the heretics and burn them alive. She burned, let me see if I can find the number. It was like 200.
Man, that is a lot of burning.
240 men and 60 women. So 300 people. And these weren't like, they weren't even necessarily Protestant. They were like farmers who couldn't read, so they couldn't recite whatever scripture, I guess, they were using to test people. Or it was Protestant preachers and artisans and like just people.
Yeah, normal people.
Yes.
Horrible.
Yeah. So people already hated her because they were like, you lied about being pregnant. You're not as charming as your sister. Like, we don't want you.
We already didn't like you. Now you did this, so we really hate you now.
Yeah. So it honestly, like, kind of solidified the Protestant movement because she turned all those people into martyrs.
Ugh.
So that's where she got the name Bloody Mary.
Oh.
And guess what?
What?
The pseudo-pregnancy happened again a few years later.
To her?
Yeah, she thought she was pregnant. She wasn't. Her husband was like, that's it, I'm out. And she died at the age of 42. Probably from, it's speculated she died of like ovarian or uterine cancer, which she was very likely suffering from.
Oh, do you think that maybe like helped add the, symptoms and stuff like that?
Yes, most definitely.
Ooh.
And it also made it really hard for her to conceive, which is why I guess she never did.
Poor thing.
Yes. So she's the most likely candidate. She was this is the story that I think heard. It was
I'm going to vote
Mary.
for her.
And then of course we all know Elizabeth took over after she died, and then there was the whole Catholic Protestant thing.
And the rest is history.
Yes. For real history.
Real history.
And there's
Fact check that.
Yes. And there's one last Bloody Mary. She doesn't actually have a name other than Mary. Is supposedly either a woman who died in a car crash and like lost her kids, or she's a woman who, I think, kind of a woman in white situation where the husband cheats on the woman, who then goes temporarily insane and kills her kids, and then realizes what she does and then kills herself.
That's horrible.
Yes.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me the husband is never got dealt with?
I mean, I guess he lost his whole family.
Ugh. Okay.
So that is also a variation of Bloody Mary. And it all just depends on what you believe the most, and also how you believe she will appear to you, because she appears in different ways too.
Yeah.
So the most popular I think is her appearing behind you, dripping in blood, or appearing like where you're standing, which is the one where your face, like you
in the mirror,
kind of disfigure your own face in your mind. Yes. Sometimes the mirror will start dripping blood. Sometimes she shows up and she's holding a baby. Sometimes she's just straight up screaming and cursing at you.
Rude.
Yes. Sometimes she doesn't do anything. Sometimes she just shows up and she's like,
could you imagine?
And then dips.
Like, oh yeah, just brushing my teeth. Hey Mary, what's cracking, girl?
Hey girl, how was your day?
How you been?
Do you think this hair color looks good on me?
She would like that color.
Thank you.
She would.
I hope I did her proud.
You did.
Depending on
You're still here, so you did.
Yes. Although, do I want to idolize somebody who killed 300 people?
Actually,
Not
no,
really.
we don't. Let's scratch that entire thing, pretend that little 10 seconds didn't just happen.
But if you consider, like, if you think it's Mary Worth, who I think was kind of a badass, who knows if she actually killed those girls? She probably didn't.
She honestly, yeah. Like, it sounds like a lot of people were already so against her that anyone could have said anything and they would have believed it.
100%. Or just a poor woman who died in a car crash.
Ugh.
Which is another covered in blood Mary situation.
Honestly, yes, they all connect in that way. They all, like, died or lived a brutal life.
Yes.
And clearly all wanted children that bad.
And it gets worse.
Oh, no.
Because sometimes you can summon Bloody Mary by spinning, running water, saying her name, whatever you'd like to do, and she will drag you into the mirror, basically into hell.
No way.
Or purgatory. Or She will climb out of her mirror and haunt you for the rest of your life.
No means no. I don't want any of it.
But you summoned her.
No way.
You get what you pay for.
Nope.
Which is your soul ripped out of you.
No Marys for me.
I think there might even
Unless
be
it's a Hail Mary.
where she... Okay, I'll take you up for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Solid. And I think that's kind of all. Sometimes she's screaming. I said that. Yes. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Oh, she can also turn your hair white. Turn your hair white. I love English.
Why would she do such a thing?
Because you summoned her and she needs to scare you so you won't do it again.
Well, I guess if she's wanting your youth.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What? So rude.
I
Like,
know.
ask.
But what if you were like going for that style? What if you were like, hey,
I mean,
Mary.
honestly, I can't wait for those days. I'm gonna like dip dye my hair, be that cool grandma.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it doesn't say that she turns you old, just that your hair turns white.
Could you imagine walking into the bathroom a brunette, walking out gray?
And your brother's like,
What? What happened?
and your friends are like, you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, Mary and I are tight now.
Try it. It's good for you.
Because
It rejuvenates you.
she doesn't kill you in all the versions. I mean, there are versions where she simply appears.
I mean, what if you just simply hand over your baby? Just kidding.
I wouldn't advise. I mean, I wouldn't advise that.
Listen, do what you gotta do.
I think there's a version you can summon her by saying, Mary, I have your baby. Which I wouldn't provoke that
No way.
in any way.
If
shape,
there's
or form.
any way she's coming out of your mirror, that's it.
Yeah. She's going to crawl out and be like, there's no baby.
No.
And then she's going to relive, if it's Queen Mary, she's going to relive all that spite and hate. And you're going to die.
Along with so many other people.
Yes.
No. No, thank you.
But I don't think she would really have the time to, like, I would believe if Bloody Mary were to exist, I would believe that she would just show up and then be like, see ya. Because imagine how many people are summoning her.
Do you imagine how tired she's got to be?
I mean, it takes a lot of energy to show yourself.
She's like,
blinking
God,
again.
I've got somebody in New York talking to me right now. All right, Pennsylvania, we'll see you later.
Yeah, like you can't release her from her mirror only for her to be sucked back in. That's how it works. She gets released for like 2 seconds and then
is
sucked
gone.
back into somebody else.
Yes. Or if all of these Marys are the Marys that just have to take shifts.
Ew.
Yeah. Like, this can't be done all by one. Actually, it could be.
What if she's
But I
like-
just feel like I would be one tired spirit.
She Voldemorted herself into different.
Oh.
So she like the mirrors are her Horcruxes.
We go back to the wand. Do you remember?
Yes.
See what I mean?
Oh, I like that theory. I'm
Mhm.
making a new legend right now. Is that every mirror is a Horcrux for Bloody Mary to show up.
I love it. I love it. That's probably my favorite.
Thank you. And that, for the most part, is Bloody Mary.
Is Bloody Mary.
More intense than you thought it was, huh? Not just a girl showing up in a mirror anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole historical
Be
figure and
careful.
everything.
Be careful. Oh, we're blinking again.
Yeah, we should probably, I think we're done.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Logan, hope you enjoyed it.